Taman walked through the massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber. His heart beat fast as he looked up at the huge dome above his head. Lights from 47 different worlds shone down on him. Some were blue, some were red, and others were colors that humans had no names for. Behind him walked 3 other humans. So Young carried a data pad with charts and numbers. Dongwu had samples from Earth in a small case. Hyejin held the formal papers that would make Earth part of the galactic community. The chamber was full of aliens. Some looked like giant insects, with shiny shells. Others were made of what seemed like living crystal. A few floated in glass tanks filled with purple gas. Taman had studied all of their species for months, but seeing them in person still amazed him. "Humans of Earth," called a voice from above. Chairman Velthara looked down at them from the highest platform. She was tall and thin with gray skin and large black eyes. Her people had been peaceful plant eaters for thousands of years. "You may present your application." Taman stepped forward. He had practiced this speech many times, but his mouth still felt dry. "Thank you, Chairman. We come from a world we call Earth. It is the 3rd planet from our star. We want to join your council and learn from the wisdom of older species." A low sound came from the audience. It might have been laughter, but from which species, Taman could not tell. "Tell us about your world," said Chairman Velthara. This was the part Taman worried about. He took a deep breath. "Earth is what we believe you call a Class 12 death world. Our planet tries to kill everything that lives on it. We have ice ages that last for thousands of years. We have storms that can destroy entire cities. Our oceans have currents that can crush metal ships." More sounds came from the audience. This time it was definitely laughter. "Our atmosphere burns things, we call it oxygen, but it slowly destroys everything it touches. Most of our planet is covered in water that will kill you if you drink it. The land has deserts hot enough to cook meat and mountains covered in poisonous snow." A delegate from the front row spoke up. His voice sounded like wind through metal tubes. "All young species think their worlds are dangerous. You will learn that space is much harder than any planet." So Young stepped forward. "Sir, we have data about our evolution. Humans developed as persistence hunters. We chased our prey for days until it collapsed from exhaustion. Our bodies can run for hours without stopping. We can survive without water for 3 days and without food for weeks." "Impossible," said a crystal being. Its voice rang like bells. "No species can be so inefficient. Evolution would never allow such waste." Dongwu opened his sample case. "We brought examples of Earth, life. This is a sample of what we call bacteria. These tiny creatures live in boiling water, in ice, in acid, and even in the vacuum of space. They eat radiation for food. Every human body contains trillions of these creatures." The chamber grew quiet for a moment. Then Chairman Velthara spoke. "You are clearly exaggerating to make your species seem impressive. All newcomers do this." Hyejin tried to help. "With respect, Chairman, we are not trying to impress you. We are trying to warn you. Humans evolved to fight and survive. We have been at war with our own planet for millions of years. We learned to make tools from rocks, then metal. Then we split the atom itself." "You split atoms?" asked a floating jellyfish creature. "That is the mark of a violent species. Peaceful beings would never think to break the building blocks of matter." "Yes," said Taman. "We use atomic power to make electricity and to destroy our enemies. We have weapons that can burn entire cities. We have killed billions of our own species in wars. We wanted you to know this about us before we joined your council." The laughter grew louder now. Chairman Velthara raised one thin hand for silence. "Young humans, every species goes through a violent phase. You will grow out of it when you learn the benefits of peace." So Young looked at her datapad. "We have charts showing human physical abilities. We can survive temperatures from -40 degrees to +50 degrees. We can see in almost complete darkness. We can hear sounds that would be silent to most species. Our reflexes are faster than most predators." "And yet you want to join our peaceful council?" asked a slug-like delegate. We want peace, said Taemin, but we also want you to understand what you are accepting. Humans are dangerous when threatened. We are very good at killing things. We have turned killing into an art form. We study war the way other species study music. A bird-like alien with bright blue feathers spoke up. If you are so dangerous, why should we let you join us at all? Dongwu answered. Because we choose to use our abilities to help instead of harm. But choice is the important word. We choose peace, but we are very good at war. Chairman Velthara looked tired. Enough of this boasting. All young species think they are special. You will learn that in the galaxy, cooperation is more important than conflict. Heejin stepped forward one last time. Chairman, we are not boasting. We are giving you a warning. If you threaten us, if you try to control us, if you push us into a corner, we will become something terrible. We do not want that to happen. The chamber fell silent. Then Chairman Velthara began to laugh. It was a sound like wind chimes in a gentle breeze. Soon other aliens joined in. The laughter echoed off the dome above them. Oh, young humans, said the chairman. You are so serious about your little planet. Do not worry. The council will take good care of you. We have dealt with many young species like yours. Taemin felt cold fear in his stomach. They were not listening. None of them were listening. We will grant you probationary observer status, continued Chairman Velthara. This means you can watch our meetings and learn from us. In time, when you have grown more peaceful, you may become full members. As the humans left the chamber, Taemin heard the delegates still talking and laughing about the amusing young species and their primitive fears. So Young walked beside him. They think we were bragging, she whispered. I know, said Taemin. We tried to warn them. They would not listen. Behind them, the delegates were already voting on new restrictions for humanity. They wanted to make sure these dangerous primitives could not hurt themselves or others while they learned to be civilized. None of them noticed the look in Taemin's eyes as he left. It was the look of a predator whose prey had just made a very big mistake. Jinwoo stared at the alien ship blocking his path. The Council peacekeeper vessel was 3 times bigger than his cargo ship, the New Busan. Its gray hull had strange symbols that meant stop for inspection in 12 different alien languages. This is the 15th time this month, said Miran from the engineering station. She was young and angry, and Jinwoo could hear both emotions in her voice. They search us every time we try to leave the solar system. The communication system crackled to life. An alien voice spoke in broken human language. Human vessel, prepare for boarding. You will submit to full cargo inspection. Jinwoo pressed the reply button. We were just inspected 3 days ago at Mars Station. Our cargo has not changed. All human vessels must be inspected. This is council law. You will comply. Kyung-ho looked up from his medical station. Captain, this is not about safety. They are looking for something else. Jinwoo knew Kyung-ho was right. The doctor was smart and saw things others missed. The council inspections were getting worse every month. They took longer, asked more questions, and copied more data from human computers. The alien boarding party came through the airlock. They were peacekeepers from different species, but they all wore the same gray uniforms. Their leader was Commander Zilkon, a reptile-like alien with scales that changed color when he was angry. Captain Jinwoo, said Zilkon, you will show us your cargo bay. Of course, Commander. Jinwoo led them through the ship. The New Busan was a simple cargo vessel. It carried food, medicine, and manufactured goods between human colonies and Earth. Nothing dangerous, nothing military. But the aliens searched everything. They opened every container. They scanned every piece of equipment. They copied data from every computer system they could find. Me-ran, watch them work. They are downloading our navigation logs, she whispered to Jinwoo. I know, he whispered back. They want to know where we have been and where we are going. The inspection took 4 hours. When it was over, Commander Zilkon stood in front of Jinwoo with a datapad in his clawed hands. Captain, you are carrying medical supplies to the colony on Titan. Yes, Commander. The colony requested antibiotics for a flu outbreak. These medicines could be used to make biological weapons. Jinwoo stared at him. Commander, those are basic cold medicines. Children take them when they have fevers. Nevertheless, you cannot deliver them without a council permit. A permit? Commander, people are sick, they need these medicines now. Zilkan's scales shifted to a darker color. Human, you will follow council regulations. No human vessel may carry anything that could be dangerous. Everything is dangerous if you use it wrong, said Miran. Water is dangerous. Air is dangerous. Are you going to ban those too? Commander Zilkan looked at her with cold eyes. Young human, you will learn respect. The Council protects the galaxy from dangerous species like yours. After the aliens left, Jinwoo sat in his captain's chair and thought. 6 months ago, humans had been free to travel anywhere in the galaxy. Now, they could barely leave their own solar system without permission. The Council called it a protection mandate. They said it was for everyone's safety. They said humans were too young and dangerous to be allowed complete freedom. But Jinwoo knew the truth. The Council was afraid of what humans might become. Kyung-Ho came to the bridge with a cup of coffee. Captain, I have been studying the inspection records. The peacekeepers are not just searching for weapons. What do you mean? They copy our medical files, our crew records, our ship designs. They are learning everything about us. Miran looked up from her engineering station. I found something else. The monitoring devices they installed on our ship, they are not just tracking where we go. They are listening to everything we say. Jinwoo felt cold anger in his chest. Show me. Miran led him to the engine room. Behind a power coupling, she pointed to a small device attached to the ship's communication system. It was no bigger than Jinwoo's thumb, but it was clearly alien technology. Every word we speak, every message we send, it all goes to Council. Intelligence, said Mi-Ran. Jin-Woo stared at the device. How long has this been here? Since our first inspection. I would guess every human ship has one. The communication system beeped. Jinwoo answered it from the engine room. New Busan. This is Luna Control. We have an emergency message from the mining station on Series 7. Go ahead, Luna Control. The station reports Council forces are ordering them to evacuate immediately. All personnel must leave within 24 hours. Jinwoo ran to the bridge. On the main screen, he could see Series 7 in the distance. It was a small mining asteroid where 300 humans lived and worked. Luna Control, why are they being evacuated? Council says the mining operation is too dangerous. They are sending ships to destroy the station. Miran grabbed Jinwoo's arm. Captain, my sister works on Series 7. She's been there for 2 years. It is her home. Jinwoo watched as Council ships surrounded the mining station. They were not there to help evacuate people. They were there to make sure no one stayed behind. Over the radio, they could hear transmissions from Series 7. This is Station Commander, Park. We are not leaving. This is our home. We built this place with our own hands. A Council voice responded. Human Commander, you have 6 hours to evacuate. After that, we will destroy the station whether you are on it or not. You cannot do this. We have done nothing wrong. Your mining operation violates Council safety regulations. The asteroid is too close to shipping lanes. Jinwoo knew this was a lie. Series 7 had been approved by the Council's own navigation department. The real reason was simpler. The Council wanted humans to stay in the inner solar system where they could be watched and controlled. 6 hours later, the humans of Series 7 gave up and left their home. Council ships destroyed the mining station with plasma cannons. 300 people lost everything they had worked for. That night, Jinwoo sent a coded message to Earth. He used an old frequency that the Council monitoring devices might not be watching. This is Captain Jinwoo of the New Busan. They are not protecting us. They are imprisoning us. They destroyed Series 7 today. Tomorrow it will be somewhere else. He paused, looking at Miran and Kyung-Ho. Both of them nodded. The Council is not listening to our protests. They think we are children who need to be controlled. They are wrong. We tried to warn them what we are. They would not listen. Jinwoo took a deep breath. It is time for them to learn. Send word to Admiral Boram. Tell her the diplomats have failed. Now it is time for soldiers. He turned off the radio and looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there, other human ships were having the same conversations. Other human crews were watching their people lose their homes and their freedom. The council thought humans were just another young species that could be trained and controlled. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Me-Ran came and stood beside him. Captain, what happens now? Jinwoo smiled, but it was not a happy smile. It was the smile of a hunter who had found his prey. Now, Miran, we remind the galaxy why Earth does not produce sheep. Admiral Boram stood in the war room deep below Seoul. The walls were covered with star charts and tactical displays. 2 years of planning had led to this moment. 2 years of building, training, and preparing for the war that was coming. Admiral, said Na Young, walking into the room with a data pad in her hands. We have confirmation from all sectors. The resistance cells are ready. Boram nodded. Na Young had spent 2 years building a network of secret human groups across the galaxy. Miners, traders, scientists, and colonists who had grown tired of council control. They were not soldiers, but they were angry, and angry humans could be very dangerous. What about the alien allies? Asked Boram. Hyojin has made contact with 17 different species. All of them are tired of council rule. The Keth want their independence. The Morhai are angry about trade restrictions. The Yalani have been trying to leave the council for 50 years. Boram smiled. The council had made many enemies over the centuries. They ruled through fear and control just like they were trying to do with humans. But now the other species could see that it was possible to fight back. The door opened and Jun-Ho came in. He was young and fast, one of the best scouts in human space. His job was to watch council movements and report back to Earth. Admiral, we have a problem, said Jun-Ho. A big problem. Tell me. Jun-Ho activated the main display. It showed a massive council fleet moving toward human space. There were hundreds of ships from dozens of different species. Military Commander Throckdal is leading them. Intelligence says they have enough firepower to destroy every human world. Boram studied the display. Throckdal was the council's best military leader. He had conquered 12 different species and never lost a battle. What is their mission? Total relocation of all humans to a single star system. They call it the final solution to the human problem. Na Young looked shocked. They want to put all of humanity in one place? It gets worse, said Jun-Ho. They plan to use something called a pacification field. It changes brain chemistry to make people more obedient and less aggressive. Boram felt cold anger in her chest. The council was not just trying to control humans, they were trying to change what humans were. They want to turn us into sheep, she said. When will they arrive? Asked Na Young. 30 days, said Jun-Ho. Bo-Ram walked to the tactical display and began entering commands. Send message to all resistance cells. Operation Terran Storm begins now. Admiral, said Heejin from the communication station. We are receiving reports from the research station Sejong. Council forces are trying to board them. The main screen changed to show a video feed from the station. Humans in maintenance suits were fighting council soldiers with improvised weapons. Plasma cutters, welding torches, and mining explosives were being used against military-grade alien weapons. Scientist Yoon-Soo appeared on screen. Her face was covered in dirt, and her hair was singed. This is Station Sejong. We are under attack. Council forces claim we were conducting illegal weapons research. Were you? Asked Bo-Ram. Yoon-Soo smiled. Admiral, we were researching new ways to grow food in zero gravity, but apparently our hydroponic gardens could be used to make biological weapons. An explosion shook the camera. Yoon-Soo grabbed a plasma cutter and ran toward the airlock. The bastards are trying to board us. We will show them what humans do to uninvited guests. The screen went dark. Get me a channel to all human ships and stations, said Bo-Ram. Na Young worked at her console. Channel open, Admiral. Bo-Ram looked into the camera. She knew that every human in the galaxy would see this message. Colonists, traders, miners, scientists, and soldiers. All of them were waiting for her words. "My fellow humans," she began, "for 2 years we have tried to live in peace with the Galactic Council. We followed their rules. We accepted their restrictions. We hoped that time would prove we were not the monsters they believed us to be." She paused and looked at the tactical display showing the approaching Council fleet. Today that hope ended. The Council has decided that humanity is too dangerous to exist as we are. They want to change us, control us, make us into something weak and obedient. The image on screen changed to show recordings of human colonies being evacuated, mining stations being destroyed, and families being separated. They would not listen when we warned them about Earth. They laughed when we told them what we were capable of. They thought we were primitive children playing at being dangerous. Boram's voice grew harder. In 30 days, a Council fleet will arrive to relocate all humans to a prison system. They plan to use alien technology to change our minds and make us docile. They want to turn humanity into pets. She stood up from her chair. This will not happen. Today we remind the galaxy why Earth breeds warriors, not slaves. Today we show them what happens when you back a predator into a corner. Na-Young began, reading coordinates and target assignments. Human ships throughout the galaxy received new orders. Mining vessels became troop transports. Research stations activated hidden weapons. Cargo ships revealed themselves to be disguised warships. Operation Terran Storm is now active, said Boram. All human forces, you are free to engage Council targets. The first strike came at the Council monitoring station in the Alpha Centauri system. What the Council thought was a simple cargo delivery turned into a boarding action when human merchants pulled military-grade weapons from their supply containers. The second strike hit a Council patrol fleet near Vega. Human ships that had been following traffic regulations suddenly began moving in attack formations that no alien tactician had ever seen. The third strike was the research station Sejong. When Council forces finally broke through the outer hull, they found the humans waiting for them with weapons made from industrial equipment and a willingness to fight that shocked even veteran alien soldiers. By the end of the first day, 17 Council installations had been attacked, not destroyed but captured. Humans had learned long ago that information was more valuable than destruction. In the war room on Earth, reports came in from across the galaxy. Resistance Cell Delta 7 has captured a Council communications relay, reported Na-Young. They are downloading military codes and fleet positions. Cell Bravo 3 has taken control of a supply depot, said Jun-Ho. They found weapons and equipment being stored for the invasion fleet. Hee-Jin looked up from her communication station. Admiral, we are receiving surrender offers from 3 different alien species. They want to join our rebellion against the Council. Boram nodded. Accept them, but make it clear that we are not trying to conquer the galaxy. We just want to be free. The tactical display showed red lights appearing across known space. Each light was a human attack, or a new alien species joining the rebellion. Admiral, said Na-Young, we are receiving a message from Council Military Commander Throckdal. Put it on screen. The alien commander appeared. He was tall and covered in thick armor that looked like it was made from metal and bone. His face was hidden behind a helmet, but his voice was filled with rage. Humans of Earth, he said, you have made a terrible mistake. You have attacked the forces of order and peace. For this crime, your species will be punished. Boram stepped in front of the camera. Commander Throckdal, we gave you 2 years of warnings. We told you what we were. We begged you to listen. Silence, primitive. You will surrender immediately, or I will burn every human world to ash. Boram smiled. It was not a pleasant smile. Commander, you still do not understand what you are fighting. We are not just another species you can conquer. We are the children of a world that spent 4 billion years trying to kill everything on it. We learned to survive by becoming very good at making other things dead. She gestured to the tactical display behind her, which showed Council forces under attack across dozens of star systems. You wanted to see what humans are capable of when threatened. Congratulations, Commander. Class is now in session. Fleet Admiral Wu Jin stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Incheon, and watched the Council Armada approach Earth. There were over 2,000 alien ships spread across space like a deadly cloud. Each one was bigger than any human vessel. Each one carried enough firepower to destroy a city. The human defense fleet had only 47 ships. "Admiral," said Aaron from the tactical station, "Council Supreme Commander Hyvel Narthan is broadcasting on all frequencies. Let me hear it." The alien's voice filled the bridge. It was deep and mechanical, like a machine trying to imitate speech. "Humans of Earth, this is your final warning. Surrender now and submit to relocation. Refuse, and we will demonstrate why. The Council has ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. Wu Jin picked up the communication microphone. "Supreme Commander, this is Fleet Admiral Wu Jin of the Terran Defense Force. We have a counteroffer." "Speak quickly, Primitive. My patience grows thin. Leave our system now, and we will let you keep some of your ships." Silence filled the communication channel. Then Hyvel Narthan began to laugh. It was a sound like grinding metal. 47 primitive vessels against 2,000 advanced warships. "Human, your mathematics are as flawed as your judgment." Young Su looked up from his defense coordination station. "Admiral, Earth's hidden platforms are online. All orbital stations report ready for combat." Wu Jin nodded. For 2 years, humans had been building weapons in secret. Not just ships, but entire battle stations disguised as research facilities and mining platforms. The Council thought Earth had only a small defense fleet. They were wrong. "Aaron, activate Doctrine Terran." "Yes, sir. All ships implement irregular warfare protocols." "Sang-Woo, your Marines are cleared for boarding operations." Marine Commander Sang-Woo grinned from his station near the back of the bridge. He was a big man with scars on his hands and arms from training exercises. "Admiral, my boys have been waiting 2 years for this." The first Council attack came exactly as human intelligence had predicted, a massive frontal assault designed to overwhelm Earth's defenses through sheer numbers. It was the standard Council battle plan that had worked against dozens of other species. But humans were not other species. The human ships did not form a defensive line like the Council expected. Instead, they scattered in all directions, moving in patterns that seemed random but were actually carefully planned. "What are they doing?" Hyvel Narthan demanded over the communication channel. "Why do they not defend their homeworld?" He got his answer when the first human ship, the destroyer Sol, suddenly accelerated to maximum speed and rammed straight into a Council heavy cruiser. The impact destroyed both vessels, but the explosion damaged 3 other Council ships. "Impossible," said Hyvel Narthan. "No species would sacrifice their ships like that." The second lesson came when Council forces tried to destroy what they thought were human supply depots. The depots turned out to be disguised weapons platforms that opened fire with railguns and missile launchers. Young Su coordinated the orbital defenses from his station on the Incheon. "Platforms 7 through 12 are engaging the Council's HFY left flank. Platform 4 is reporting successful hits on 2 battle cruisers." But the real shock came when human ships began boarding Council vessels. Commander Sang-Woo led the first boarding party personally. His Marines used cutting tools to break through the hull of a Council command ship. What they found inside were aliens who had never experienced close combat. "These things do not know how to fight with their hands," Sang-Woo reported over the radio. "They rely on their weapons and armor. Take those away and they are helpless." The Marine boarding teams moved through Council ships like a plague. They captured bridge after bridge, weapons control after weapons control. Within hours, dozens of Council vessels had been taken from the inside. A-Rin watched her tactical display with satisfaction. "Admiral, Council forces are taking heavy casualties. Their formation is breaking apart." But the Council still had superior numbers. For every human ship lost, they could afford to lose 10 of their own. Hyvel Narthan began adapting his tactics. All Council vessels maintain distance from human ships. Use long-range weapons only. Do not allow them to board you. Wu Jin smiled. He is learning, but not fast enough. The human ships changed tactics, again. Instead of direct attacks, they began hit-and-run strikes. A human destroyer would appear from behind an asteroid, fire all its weapons at a council ship, then disappear before the aliens could respond. They are like insects. HFY Narthan raged over the communication channel. Stand and fight like honorable warriors. Honor is a luxury we cannot afford, Wu Jin replied. We are fighting for our species' survival. The battle turned when human engineers began reverse engineering captured council technology in real time. Alien weapons were stripped from damaged council ships and installed on human vessels. Young-Su coordinated the rapid modifications. The engineering teams on Platform 6 have figured out how their plasma cannons work. They are installing them on the cruiser Busan. How long until the Busan is combat ready? 30 minutes, Admiral. In any normal battle, 30 minutes would be too long to matter. But this was not a normal battle. Human tactics were designed to buy time, to wear down the enemy, to create opportunities for decisive strikes. The decisive moment came when Wu Jin spotted HFY Narthan's command vessel. It was a massive ship, 3 kilometers long and heavily armored. It stayed in the center of the council formation, protected by dozens of escort vessels. Aaron, plot a ramming course for the enemy flagship. Admiral, the Inchin cannot penetrate. Their escort screen. We are not going through the escorts, we are going over them. What Wu Jin did next would be studied by military academicians for centuries. He used Earth's gravity well to slingshot the Inchin around the planet at incredible speed. The ship came up from below the council formation, where no one expected an attack. All power to forward shields, ordered Wu Jin. Sang Wu, prepare, boarding parties. We are going to take their flagship. The Inchin hit HFY Narthan's command vessel at a speed that should have destroyed both ships. But human engineering had always been designed for survival in impossible conditions. The Inchin's reinforced hull punched through the alien ship's armor like a spear through paper. Boarding parties away, shouted Sang Wu as his Marines poured through the breach. What followed was the most violent close-quarters combat the galaxy had seen in 1,000 years. Human Marines fought through corridor after corridor of the alien ship. They used knives when their guns ran out of ammunition. They used their fists when they ran out of knives. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Council soldiers were trained to fight with advanced weapons and sophisticated tactics. They were not prepared for humans who would bite, claw, and beat their enemies to death with bare hands. HFY Narthan himself was captured when Sang Wu kicked down the door of the command center and found the Supreme Commander hiding behind his tactical display. Surrender your fleet, said Sang Wu, pointing his rifle at the alien's head. Never. The Council does not surrender to primitives. Sang Wu smiled. Then watch what primitives do to your ships. On the main display, they could see the Council fleet falling apart. Without their command vessel, the alien ships could not coordinate their attacks. Human forces moved between them like wolves among sheep, picking off isolated vessels one by one. By the end of the day, over half the Council fleet was destroyed or captured. The surviving ships retreated to the outer edge of the solar system. Wu Jin stood on the bridge of the captured Council flagship and spoke to the remaining alien forces. This is Fleet Admiral Wu Jin of the Terran Defense Force. You came here to relocate humanity. You came here to change what we are. You failed. He gestured to the wreckage floating around Earth. We told you what we were. We warned you what would happen if you threatened us. You would not listen. Now you know the price of underestimating Earth. The communication channel was silent for a long moment. Then a voice spoke. It was HFY Narthan, now a prisoner on his own ship. How did primitives defeat the greatest fleet in Council history? Wu Jin looked at the alien commander with something that might have been pity. Supreme Commander, you ruled the galaxy by conquering species that wanted peace. You never fought a species that was born for war. Today you learned the difference. He turned to Aaron. Send word to Earth Command. The Sol system is secure, but this is just the beginning. The galaxy is about to change, and we are going to be the ones changing it. President Su Jin stood at the window of her office and looked out at the stars. 3 months had passed since the Battle of Earth, but the galaxy was still shaking from what humans had done. Reports came in every day of new species declaring, Independence from the council. Madam President, said her aide, walking into the office with a data pad. Ambassador Taemin has arrived for the meeting. Sujin turned from the window. Taemin looked different now. 3 months ago, he had been a diplomat trying to make peace with the council. Now he was the representative of a species that had changed the balance of power in the galaxy. Ambassador, said Sujin. How did the negotiations go? Taemin sat down in the chair across from her desk. The remaining council members want to meet. They say they are ready to discuss new terms for human membership. Sujin laughed, but there was no humor in it. New terms? They tried to imprison our entire species and change our minds with alien technology. Now they want to negotiate? The council has lost control of 12 systems in the last month, said Taemin. 17 different species have declared independence. Their empire is falling apart. Through the office door came Hanul, the leader of the Keth rebellion. She was tall and thin with gray skin and 4 arms. Her people had been under council rule for 300 years until humans showed them how to fight back. President Sujin, said Hanul in her musical voice, my people are free for the first time in centuries. We owe this to humanity. Sujin shook her head. You owe it to yourselves. We just showed you that the council could be beaten. You did the fighting. Hanul's eyes changed color from blue to purple, which meant she was feeling strong emotion. The council told us for 300 years that resistance was impossible, that their technology was too advanced, their military too powerful. You proved them wrong. The door opened again, and Admiral Boram entered. She now carried the title of Supreme Military Coordinator, in charge of all human military forces. Behind her walked investigator Min Ho, a man who had spent 3 months documenting council crimes. Madam President, said Boram, I have the latest intelligence reports. The council is mobilizing their remaining forces for one final attack. Where? Here, Earth. They cannot allow our victory to stand. If other species see that humans can defeat the council, the rebellion will spread to every corner of the galaxy. Minho activated his data pad and projected images into the air above the desk. They showed pictures of destroyed cities, empty planets, and slave camps hidden throughout council space. Madam President, my investigation has uncovered evidence of crimes going back centuries. The council has not been protecting the galaxy. They have been enslaving it. The images showed species that had been relocated to prison worlds, children taken from their families to be educated in council schools, and entire planets stripped of their resources to feed council worlds. How many species has the council destroyed? Asked Sujin. 43 species have been completely eliminated, said Minho. 112 others have been reduced to slave status. The council calls it bringing civilization to primitive worlds. Taemin looked sick. We tried to join this. We wanted to be part of their galactic community. You could not have known, said Hanul. The council hides their crimes behind pretty words about peace and cooperation. My people believed their lies for 3 centuries. President Sujin stood up and walked back to the window. In the distance, she could see the construction yards where humans were building new ships. Not just warships, but hospital ships, cargo vessels, and exploration craft. Ships designed to help, not conquer. What is the status of the Liberation Alliance, she asked. 37 species have joined us, said Boram. More are asking for membership every day. We are not trying to build an empire. We are trying to tear one down. A communication alert sounded. Taemin activated the main display and the image of Chairman Velthara appeared. The alien leader looked older and more tired than she had 6 months ago. President Sujin, said Velthara, I request a meeting to discuss terms for ending this conflict. Sujin stepped in front of the camera. Chairman Velthara, 6 months ago we tried to warn you about humanity. You laughed at us. You thought we were primitive children playing at being dangerous. We made mistakes, said Velthara, but surely we can find a peaceful solution to this crisis. Crisis? Said Sujin. Chairman, the crisis was when you tried to imprison our species and change our minds with alien technology. What is happening now is justice. The communication channel was silent for a moment. Then Velthera spoke again, her voice barely a whisper. What do you want? Sujin looked at the faces around her. Tae-min, who had tried to make peace and been ignored. Boram, who had prepared for war when peace failed. Hanul, whose people had suffered under council rule for centuries. Minho, who had documented the council's crimes. We want every species in the galaxy to be free to choose their own path, said Sujin. We want an end to forced relocations, mind control technology, and slave labor camps. We want the council to release every prisoner they have taken and return every world they have stolen. Impossible, said Velthara. That would mean the end of galactic order. No, said Sujin. It would mean the end of galactic tyranny. There is a difference. She gestured to the data that Minho had collected. For 10,000 years, the council has ruled through fear and control. You told species like mine that you were protecting the galaxy from dangerous primitives. But the only dangerous primitives in this galaxy wear council uniforms. Velthara's image flickered as the transmission became unstable. If we refuse your demands, then the Liberation Alliance will continue to grow, said Boram. More species will rebel. More council worlds will fall. Eventually you will run out of soldiers and ships. And then, asked Vel-Thara.Tai-Min stepped forward, then the galaxy will remember what you really are. Not protectors or peacekeepers, but conquerors who ruled through lies. The transmission ended. Velthara was gone, probably to plan one final, desperate attack on Earth and its allies. Madam President, said Hanul. What happens if the council refuses to surrender? Sujin walked back to her desk and sat down. Then we finish what they started. The council declared war on humanity. When they tried to imprison us, we will end this war on our terms. She looked at each person in the room. 6 months ago, we came to the council as friends. We wanted to learn from older, wiser species. We offered our strength to protect those who could not protect themselves. Sujin activated the communication system that connected her to every human world and every allied species. The council chose to see us as a threat instead of an opportunity. They tried to cage us, control us, change us into something weak and obedient. They failed. Images appeared on screens throughout human space and the rebel worlds. Pictures of free Keth children playing in parks that had been slave camps. Former council prison planets where families were reunited after decades of separation. Worlds that were learning to govern themselves for the first time in centuries. Today, 37 species stand together as equals in the Liberation Alliance. We are not trying to conquer the galaxy. We are trying to free it. She paused and looked directly into the camera. To the council, we say this. You had 10,000 years to rule with wisdom and justice. You chose tyranny and oppression instead. Your time is over. To the species still under council control, we say this. Freedom is not a gift that others give you. It is a right that you must take for yourselves. We will help you, but you must be willing to fight. And to the galaxy, we say this. The age of empires is ending. The age of free peoples is beginning. We are all children of the same stars. It is time we learn to treat each other as family instead of as master and slave. President Sujin turned off the communication system and looked at her advisors. They tried to tell us that resistance was impossible, she said. They tried to convince the galaxy that the council was too powerful to defeat. They were wrong. She smiled, and for the first time in months it was a genuinely happy smile. 6 months ago, Ambassador Tae-min stood before the Galactic Council and tried to warn them about Earth. He told them what humans were capable of when threatened. They would not listen. Sujin looked out at the stars, where human ships and allied vessels were spreading freedom to worlds that had known only slavery. Now the galaxy will never be the same. And that, my friends, is exactly what we intended. In the months that followed, the old order collapsed completely. The Galactic Council surrendered after losing 3/4 of their territory to rebellions. A new galactic confederation was formed. based on equality and mutual respect rather than domination and control. Humanity took its place not as conquerors, but as liberators. They had proven that even the mightiest empire could fall when faced with those who refused to be slaves. The galaxy learned a lesson that day. When you meet a species that offers friendship, listen carefully to their warnings about what they might become if you choose to be their enemy. Instead, Earth had tried to tell them the truth. Nobody listened. Now everybody knew.